Good evening and welcome to The Core, coming to you live from Channels Television Studios in Abuja, Nigeria. I am Adria Ahmed. Women make up almost half of Nigeria's population. These numbers are fully on display when the country goes to the polls. Women come out in their millions to vote. But more often than not, they are voting for men, and men alone. Their numbers as Nigerians and as voters seem to have little impact on their ability to contest and win elective office. They don't even make it to the ballot paper in any reasonable number. The situation is similar when it comes to appointments into political office or into any senior position in government. Female representation is abysmal. What is happening in Nigeria is at odds with what is going on in the rest of the world, including Africa. In October 2018, Ethiopia made a move towards a more inclusive and gender-balanced government. 10 out of the country's 20 ministerial positions were filled with capable women. 2 days after, Rwanda followed suit and announced her 50-50 gender cabinet. Other African countries like the Seychelles, Senegal, and South Africa are experiencing incremental participation of women in politics. But Nigeria, Africa's most populous democracy, has made very little progress in gender inclusion. Overall, political representation of women in government has been less than 10% since 1999. Why is this so? And in any case, why should anyone care about gender inclusion in politics and in government? This and more on The Core. First, though, an overview of the issue.
The World Population Review puts the number of people living in Nigeria today at over 197 million, and women make up almost half of that number. Women play a very active role in politics in Nigeria in terms of voting, campaign, rallies, and organizing for contests into political offices. According to INEC, for the 2015 general elections, the total number of registered voters was over 68.8 million. Of those, over 22.9 million were men and about 45.9 million were women. Despite this large number of registered female voters, 49% to be precise, only 7% according to INEC in 2011 were in governance, and the country's politics is still largely dominated by men in elective office. Why is this the case?
In that order, please. It's a question of a lot of us just thinking we have to be back there. We don't have to be at the front. I think we need to see a lot more of the women coming out. And with Women to Women, we are beginning to tell them that, look, the women are behind you. The impediments I saw to the evolution of our society are actually in the political space more than in the community space. And therefore, I think getting into political space is about taking the concerns I have in the other space into the mainstream and asking the mainstream, look at what your society is becoming.
Women's huge contributions in the political process do not also translate into parliamentary seats. In the 2015 general election, out of 14 candidates that contested for the seat of the president, the only woman among them came in the 12th position. In the same election, while 101 men were elected as senators, only 8 women made it to the highest law body. The story is no better in the House of Representatives. Only 14 women made it into a 360-seat parliament. The situation is as abysmal at the state legislative bodies. Of the 990 seats contested for in the 2015 elections, 930 were won by men, with only 60 won by women. If we compare Nigeria to other African countries, the country is doing poorly when it comes to electing women. The numbers are a paltry 5.9% in the national legislature, compared to Uganda's 34.6%, South Africa's 43.2%, Ethiopia's 27.7%, and Cameroon's 20.1%.
The reality of the Nigeria situation is a cause for concern.
What are the constraints? If women make up a larger number of voters, why isn't that evident in the number of political positions held by women? The problems include patriarchy, stigmatization of female politicians, low level of education, political violence, religious and cultural barriers, and money, or rather the lack of it, on the part of many qualified women in the political system, where funding is critical.
The local forces of those who wanted to see change in the country, particularly women, put their own resources together, as meager as they were, but it all came together in professional women, market women, student organizations. They all supported our effort, and we were able to win. So resources is an important part of enabling women toward a leadership position.
But what if, in spite of these barriers, a woman goes ahead and contests? Would a typical Nigerian, for instance, vote a woman as president of the country?
Regardless of your gender, and you come out to sell your party manifesto, if I identify that, yes, what we need in this country, you have the ability to deliver those mandate of your party, why not? We'll vote for the person.
Definitely we'll vote her. I myself, I'll vote her, personally vote a female. At least we have, even though I can't remember the country presently now, but we have 1 or 2 countries that will have females at the top.
When we are talking about women in politics, I don't think there's anything bad in voting for women in politics and to contest for any elective post.
The problem is women will not be united. They won't be able to come together as a voice and vote for their fellow woman. And it's my desire that we'll get to that stage where we mobilize ourselves as female and vote for each other.
This is Vigdis Finnbogadóttir. She served as the 4th president of Iceland and was democratically elected by the people. She served from 1980 to 1996. She was Europe's first female president and is considered the world's first democratically elected female president. But even in Africa, women are beginning to occupy the highest offices in the land. There is the former president of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Sarah Kogongelwa, who was the Prime Minister of Namibia, and Sahle-Work Zewde, who has just become the